WTV, this is Channel 7 Eyewitness News at 11 with Keith Radford, Susan Banks, meteorologist Mike Randall with the exclusive AccuWeather forecast, and sports with John Murphy.
Before Littleton, before Jonesboro, there was the horror of Olean High School.
It happened a quarter century ago when a teenage sniper terrorized a southern tier school.
And the circumstances are disturbingly similar to what the nation is seeing now. More from Eyewitness News reporter Andrew Siff in this Eyewitness News Extra. Andrew?
Well, Susan and Keith, when educators and parents cite causes of the recent stretch of school shootings, many select the internet, Marilyn Manson music, and video games as factors. But before any of these things existed, Western New York witnessed a shockingly similar rampage.
They say, you know, he was a brilliant student and everything else. You wonder what makes kids do this.
Anthony Barbaro was an honor student, a sharpshooter on the rifle team, and something of a loner. And on December 30th, 1974, the senior at Olean High School became a killer.
It went through my side and through my wrist.
Wayne Dutton was 26 years old when a bullet hit him that Monday around 3 p.m. as he was driving by the school.
We went by a fire truck and pulled up to a stop sign, and all of a sudden there was a bang. And I thought, you know, the motor exploded or something, and glass flew.
We heard noises, and, you know, one boy would say, that's gun shooting, and another boy would say, it's a car backfiring. Well, let's go investigate.
Linda Lampack was an Olean cheerleader in 1974. She and her friends were a few blocks away when they heard the first shots.
We started slowly walking down the street, and all of a sudden we heard the firemen and the policemen over the microphones yelling, "You kids get back, you kids get back."
Anthony Barbaro was shooting from inside the student council office on the 3rd floor. Barbaro had weapons, ammunition, explosives. When the shooting started, trucks and a tank from the National Guard barracks in Olean rolled into action. It wasn't enough to stop this teenage gunman from holding 100 law enforcement agents at bay for 2.5 hours. One of Barbaro's bullets killed Slim Metcalf, a school custodian. Another killed a gas company worker who was on the scene. Another shot took the life of a pregnant woman who was driving by.
You could hear a car horn blowing, and unfortunately that was the woman, you know, who had been shot and killed.
Linda Lampack remembers how close she and her friends came to getting hit.
And then a shot rang out, and it hit right by the curb where we were all slowly coming up the sidewalk, and everyone scattered then and realized if you could see the high school, he could see you.
The casualties piled up. 6 Olean firefighters, including Herbie Elmore, were wounded trying to fend off Barbaro and keep the crowd safe. Finally, the SWAT team in gas masks made it into the council room and subdued Barbaro.
He seems rather a little incoherent, like he's almost in shock himself. He doesn't really understand what he's done.
Barbaro's family, well-liked in the community, tried to make sense of Anthony's behavior.
He took an awful lot of responsibility upon himself for things around him, and he just couldn't cope with it anymore.
When firefighter Herbie Elmore got out of the hospital 3 weeks after the shooting, Olean welcomed him with a parade, and the healing began. But today, as survivors of the shooting hear too many tragic tales of lonely, disturbed kids from across the country, they relive that day during Christmas break 25 years ago. They shake their heads at the similarities.
No, I wondered when something like this would be brought up, you know, like everybody forgot about shooting up here.
Like Eric Harris in Littleton, Tony Barbaro made threats before the incident, but no one took them seriously. 9 months later, days before his trial, Barbaro committed suicide in his jail cell. He left behind a note which reads, "I regret that day the force took me, and the pain, suffering, and destruction that resulted." After Barbaro's death, investigators asked the same questions in Olean that they're asking in Colorado today. Could the crime have been prevented? Experts tell us when kids talk in a violent manner, authorities should intervene.
But you have to identify these kids and take them aside and talk to them. No longer can you just, you know, brush it under the rug and say, that was just a prank. You have to deal with it as a crime.
State police have run a program called Operation Safe Schools since 1992. Police tell us kids in Cattaraugus County have been especially cooperative in identifying problems before they get out of hand. Keith and Susan?
All right. Thanks,
Thank you, Andrew. That was a powerful message.
When we come back tonight, meteorologist Mike Randall checks out that home
in Boston's Fleet Center in the regular